A powerful storm is about to form this week, bringing the biggest severe weather outbreak so far this year to millions of people. Plus, blizzard conditions, heavy rain, and strong winds. This storm is going to be a mess, and it's looking worse as we've gotten closer to it. In this video, I'll show you what we're expecting from this major storm system, but first, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more weather updates. So here's a look at the simulated precipitation. Actually, there was some severe weather in Texas and Oklahoma earlier today, but that's a very minor event compared to what we're about to see over the next couple days. You can see rain and snow across the western U.S., and this is going to turn into a pretty big storm system, especially going into Monday night and Tuesday. Around midnight Central Time, you have severe thunderstorms exploding in Texas and Oklahoma, and you have a pretty powerful low pressure system east of the Rockies, and heavy snowfall in Colorado and Montana and Wyoming and Colorado. Over time, this really expands into a line of severe thunderstorms going all the way from Kansas down to Texas overnight, Monday night going into Tuesday morning, and then this really surges into the south across Arkansas, Louisiana, severe thunderstorms, and this is already on Tuesday around noon. You already have these severe thunderstorms taking place. It looks mostly linear, so that'll be a strong, damaging wind event, but there is also the potential for some significant tornadoes out ahead of the line of storms, especially in Louisiana. Eastern Louisiana has probably the highest potential for significant tornadoes, and it's looking pretty serious. And then we have some very strong winds behind this system as it intensifies, with heavy snowfall, even blizzard conditions possible across parts of Nebraska and Kansas. And then the low pressure system continues to deepen. By Tuesday afternoon, you have some powerful severe thunderstorms across the south into Tuesday evening. And then the snow just goes crazy on the northern part of the system over eastern Nebraska and parts of Kansas and Iowa and Minnesota. And then still the line of severe thunderstorms continues eastward across the south, going across Mississippi, Alabama through Tuesday night. And then the system keeps going. You have a line of thunderstorms going all the way up and down the East Coast, all the way from New York down to Florida. The highest severe potential is probably going to be somewhere in North Carolina, maybe Virginia, parts of South Carolina. Finally, by Wednesday afternoon, for the most part, the severe weather part moves off the East Coast, where you still have rain and snow across the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, and the Northeast. By Wednesday night, severe weather is going to be pretty significant. Here's today's slight risk. That's pretty much over with by now, but then we have a slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow, Monday, March 3rd. Then the big day is Tuesday, March 4th. You have a pretty significant enhanced risk over Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and this is going to be for some strong winds, but also significant tornadoes. And then we have a bigger slight risk going across all the way from eastern Texas up to Missouri, east to Alabama, and along the Gulf Coast. And this is the big day with the powerful storm system, but even a few days ago, it was a day 6 enhanced risk. Now it's a day 3 enhanced risk. If it upgrades to a moderate risk, that would be pretty significant. And it is possible, given what we're seeing, especially for eastern Louisiana. And then there's a slight risk of severe weather for the East Coast, going all the way from New Jersey all the way down to southeastern Georgia. So this is the first multi-day severe weather outbreak of 2025, and the biggest severe weather event so far this year. And this is just the start of a pretty active severe weather season. And my 2025 tornado season forecast is out, and I highly recommend checking it out. There's a link at the top right of your screen and in the description below the video. Here's a look at the mid-level winds. The storm system, it starts off as a kind of positively tilted trough, but then Monday night, then it starts to turn neutrally tilted, and then by Tuesday afternoon, it becomes more of a negatively tilted trough with some very strong winds just to the south of it, and some pretty significant upper level and mid-level divergence just to the east of this trough over the south, and this is going to lead to a lot of lift. That's going to intensify the low pressure system and lead to some very favorable conditions for severe weather. So that is pretty significant. Then we have a decent amount of instability. Now, the Cape is actually part of it is capped for part of the time, but then we also have where it's uncapped. It's a narrow area of instability going across parts of Texas and Oklahoma to start with, and then that kind of keeps moving east Monday night into Tuesday afternoon. It's a narrow area, so I'm thinking, yeah, this is definitely going to be a mostly linear event, at least at first. Now there is some more instability into Louisiana, and that's where there's very high potential for some strong tornadoes. Then that keeps going eastward, and then we get to Wednesday, and we have a more spread out area of light instability. There's a lot of moisture being pushed northward with this. Going into Monday, you can see moisture kind of moving north into Texas, Oklahoma, and then notice what happens starting Monday night, and this really kicks off the severe weather event. The dry line really hits this. You have very dry air that just punches into that moisture that's surging north. So that's very significant. This could really kick off some intense severe thunderstorms, and then you have a lot more moisture concentrated down in Louisiana, and then this goes further east, and then by Wednesday we have some dew points in the 60s in the Carolinas. This could definitely support some severe thunderstorms here too on Wednesday. And we also have this, the low-level jet. The low-level jet really intensifies, starting on Monday night, but then it really goes crazy on Tuesday, where we have a hurricane force low-level jet with winds possibly 85 miles an hour over Louisiana and Arkansas. That's serious. That's wild to have happen in the early afternoon too. And then this continues even further eastward, possibly up to 90 miles an hour in some places over Mississippi. Usually the low-level jet stream does strengthen at night. That is definitely going to really feed in that moisture and also provide a lot of low-level wind shear for tornadoes. Here's a look at the supercell composite, and yeah, it really starts again, Monday night going to Tuesday, and then it concentrates down in Louisiana and Mississippi with the higher potential. This is supercell composite around 12 or so. That's pretty decent. And then supercell composite values of maybe a 2 in Virginia, North Carolina, 2 to even a 4 perhaps in some areas. So definitely the potential for severe weather there, all the way from like Virginia all the way down to South Carolina, Georgia, and maybe even Florida on Wednesday. The significant tornado perimeter, the STP, could be even more extreme, especially across, it starts pretty high in Oklahoma and Texas, but remember, it's mostly linear, so there's the potential for tornadoes within the line of storms, but then we could actually see some supercells out ahead of the line of storms once we go into, and this is why I'm saying that eastern Louisiana and western Mississippi have the highest potential right in this area, the highest potential for some strong tornadoes on Tuesday late afternoon, because these are values within like a 5 to 7 range, and this is really where everything lines up, where you have moisture, you have instability, and a wider area of instability, and possibly the supercells out ahead of the line of storms tapping into the low-level jet stream, the wind shear. The STP values are pretty high here. That's kind of where it really looks like there's the potential for some very strong tornadoes in this area, so that's going to be a big deal. So that's the severe weather. It's looking pretty significant. Of course, the big day is Tuesday, but severe weather does extend over multiple days. And then we have also, besides just severe weather, we have heavy rain from this too. And so there's a slight risk, a day 3 slight risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding, especially across the south and also across parts of Iowa and northwestern Missouri, but a bigger area across the south, especially Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and Alabama, and also the Arklatex region and southeastern Oklahoma. So we have the severe weather, then north of that is the rain, then north of that is the snow. And here's a look at the snowfall just through Wednesday night. The storm kind of starts in the western U.S., so we have the potential for a couple feet of snow over the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, and then 1 to 2 feet maybe for Nevada and the higher elevations in northeastern Nevada. But the significant snowfall, really, we have several inches of snow possible in northeastern Kansas, eastern Nebraska, even central and western Nebraska too, but then possibly 8 inches of snow in portions of western Iowa, and then southeastern Minnesota could see over a foot of snow, and then another 9 to 14 inches of snow across Wisconsin, and then the upper peninsula of Michigan, 12 to 18 inches, local amounts up to 20 inches, and the glove part of Michigan really seeing only a couple inches of snow, and then minor snowfall amounts for the Ohio Valley and the Northeast. There's also some other things happening with this. So yeah, we have winter storm watches for Nebraska, Colorado, and northwestern Kansas, but there's also high wind watches in place because of the strong winds from this system that are expected. And then we have, of course, wind advisories across the Southwest, high wind warnings across eastern New Mexico, and red flag warnings because of some extreme fire danger because of these strong dry winds, behind the dry line. And that's kind of what's going to kick off the severe weather event. And so, yeah, the fire weather outlook today, we had some critical fire conditions, but extremely critical fire weather in eastern New Mexico and far western Texas tomorrow for Monday, March 3rd. And then this continues on Tuesday, March 4th, moving further eastward into a significant portion of Texas, especially western Texas. And then nothing for Wednesday, but this fire weather could continue actually on Thursday and even Friday, so for pretty much the entire week. And there are actually some other storm systems behind this big storm that's generating all the severe weather and snow and flooding and fire danger. We actually have, by Wednesday night, another system hitting the western U.S., hitting California on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, and then more rain and snow for the western U.S. But then this storm system really falls apart before it really does anything. Like, it's going to be some snow and some rain for the parts of the Central Plains and the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. And then we have for New Mexico, Texas, and the South, the Gulf Coast, could see some more rain from this, but it really gets carried away, and the jet stream doesn't really help this really intensify into a significant storm system by the end of this week. But then going into Monday, March 10th, Tuesday, March 11th, we have another storm system moving into the western U.S., a couple storm systems, and then it kind of doesn't really do anything until it gets into the central U.S. You have another potential severe weather event with a line of storms going all the way from the Midwest down to the South. This could bring the potential for some severe weather. Yeah, it really blows up actually in the South. So that could be another severe weather event going into Wednesday night on March 12th. Now this stuff is further out, so this is questionable, but there is the potential for several severe weather events this month. That's probably going to happen. But yeah, then we have another storm system hitting the western U.S., and that could create another severe weather outbreak, and then you have more moisture hitting the west. And usually that's how it works. You have a storm system hits the western U.S. and then kind of goes east of the Rockies and really forms into something else across the central U.S. and severe weather for the South. But yeah, definitely a lot of things happening, especially with this significant storm, especially on Monday night going into Tuesday. Very powerful storm system with the potential for a significant severe weather outbreak across the South. And this is going to impact millions of people. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share the video, comment below, and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more weather updates. And if you haven't already, I highly recommend checking out my 2025 tornado season forecast by clicking on the video that shows up on your screen. See you over there. Extreme Weather Zone, out.